I'm Kyle Remillard, and this is my dad, Tom Remillard, and we are the Rems Gems. We're here to show you a better way to win on sports. All right, you ready? How you feeling?
Feeling good.
Feeling good? Episode 1?
Yeah.
Episode 1's tough. You know, we don't have NFL for 2 weeks, so...
no doubt.
But we will we'll go over us today, why you should trust us with your picks, kind of our history, why we think we should do a podcast, and, you know...
Long overdue podcast.
Absolutely, yeah, you're not lying there. So I think first we should probably address the elephant in the room, father, son, you know, why are you two doing a podcast? I think that's a safe question people will ask. What's your take on that?
Well, we've cashed in the DraftKings contest the past 2 years. We almost hit for $1 million. Was it 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2020.
We were one out of first place with 1 week to go.
Yeah.
And that still haunts me, I might add.
Me as well. And we'll get into detail on that.
But we still cashed, and last year we cashed. I don't know how many people cashed 2 years in a row.
Can't be many.
Right?
Yep. Can't be many.
Your experience coming from Vegas and your analytical background and my watching it for 50 years and shooting from the gut. You know?
Yeah, I think
we make a little good team.
We do. I'm more of a numbers guy. You're more of a trend guy, so you combine those two. Yep. Shelby's my fiance. You guys will hear that name pretty often. She was the one. I've had this idea of a podcast for a long time, and she was the one who said, "Why don't you do it with your dad?" And I was like, you know what? That's a good idea. We talk on the phone 5 times a day, and those conversations are strictly about sports and sports betting, and so why not? You know, I think we make a great team, and we're already, you know, we're turning our conversations into making some people some money, so why not?
Just to let the people know, too, I'm from Manchester, a.k.a. Manch Vegas. I grew up here in 1960. I was born, but all the poker machines came into business in around the 80s. And it was like the Wild West in Manchester with gambling. Everyone had a bookie. Every bar had a bookie, so it was crazy. And it was a fun time. And 4 of my high school teachers were bookies. 4.
Yeah.
You never see that.
Yeah.
Legitimate bookies.
That's insane. That's insane.
I took a class in high school, sports betting. One of the few I got A's in, but I mean, it was, just think of that. You had a class in sports betting back in 1977.
That's insane.
Frank Sullivan, rest in peace. He was a good teacher.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's where I'm coming from on this. I've been watching this, doing this for a long time, so experience does have some kudos, I think.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating that sports betting was taught in school back then, and you took a class on it. And then I feel like it got such a bad stigma for, I don't know, you think about Donaghy and just the different things that happened, and now look at where we are today. Right. It's legal in 40-something states, and to be all of them, you know.
And I was at the Encore today with your mother and your Aunt Phyllis, and that sports book is ready to go. They legalized it in Mass, and as soon as they get it going, it's going to be October, I think they said.
Yep.
But there's going to be like 7 different books.
Exactly.
7, so you can get different numbers. That's going to be, I think that's going to be huge around here.
Yeah, it's going to be massive, and be able to line shop. And, you know, we've been stuck with DraftKings for how long? And
but
now,
I do love DraftKings, though,
of course.
This tournament is...
this contest is one of the best, and...
Did you go over the rules with this to let the people know, like, what we're doing, or is that
we're going to
later?
dive into that? I think we can do that now. Actually, I think that was the why are we doing this podcast, because DraftKings has a $1,500 contest for those of you that don't know, and you make 5 picks against the spread every week, and whoever has the best record at the end of the season, you get cash prizes from there. And so in 2020 was the first year they did it. And we submitted a team with our family, the Remillards. There's 5 of us. We all made 1 pick. And going into the final week, we were in second place for $250,000. And that was a stressful week, to say the least.
Very stressful. We never dreamt it would be so stressful. Insane. I thought it would be more fun.
Yeah, right. And we had a strategy where we all made 1 pick, and you stuck to that. And no matter how much you hated the other people's picks, you had to trust it and ride with it. And that final week, we did not do that. We changed our strategy. We tried to be contrarian. We tried to take the Monday night game so that we could hedge. We took all the line moves. We kind of went against them, and it bit us. And
I still see Alvin Kamara running. He had like 6 touchdowns.
The Thursday night game
we
against
were on
the
the
Vikings.
wrong end of that one.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we went 1-4, and we still cashed for, I think we got 18th, tied for 18th for 20,000, which it's a nice score, but when you have $1 million right in front of you, you know, it just doesn't feel the same.
But you learned a lot.
We did learn a lot.
Hey, just to let you know, that contest now isn't going to be $1,500.
Exactly.
It's $250. They dropped the price. So.
And so for this year, and to the podcast point, we're going to be all entering in our own team. And so we're going to track our picks here. We're going to go over, you know, our 5 picks each week. And I think if you want to make money, you can follow me. If you want to, you know, throw your money down the tubes, you can follow my dad.
All right, we'll see. He's talking good now. We'll see what happens when the picks come out.
I feel confident in my picking ability. And on that note, I'll go into my background a little bit. I feel I've been in the industry for 2 decades, and I'm 29 years old, but I was betting sports. I was playing poker in elementary school, and a lot of you are probably thinking, "Man, who would let their kid do that?" And you're looking right at them. I've done it all. So I went to college in Rhode Island, where I was a table games dealer at a casino there. Before I moved to Las Vegas for 3 years, my brother was out there with me, and he was a bookmaker. He'll probably be joining us on here.
Oh yeah, sure.
Next week, I think he'll be here. And so I went to the Christmas party for the sports book, and I met a professional bettor. I won't say his name on here for now. Maybe I'll reach out to him, but
we got to get him on.
Yeah, that would be a nice guest. And we really hit it off. And the next day, he allowed me to work for him, and I go to his house, and he hands me $25,000 in cash, which is a lot of money, pretty scary. And I was, you know, working for him and kind of his group of bettors that he has, and you know, I had anywhere from $50,000 to $75,000 of his money in cash at any time. I was placing bets for him, and I'll never forget the Patriots Atlanta Super Bowl. He had a crazy amount of player props too, but he had all of the rest of the money that I had with him on Atlanta +4 in that game. You remember what happened there? The biggest comeback in Super Bowl history, and I had the Patriots for my, you know, couple $100 or future bets, and I was happy, but I definitely felt for him. So we'll work to get him on here. That would be a fun one. And now, currently, I work for the Action Network. I contribute doing college football and college basketball for them. I think I'll get into the NFL space pretty soon. I don't see why not.
I got to give you a little props here on your picks last year that are documented. Your season props that we'll be giving out later. We do that too. Season win totals and player props and such. But last year he went, was it 7-1-1?
Yep.
Or 7-1-1 on the player props, and I followed him, and I was glad he was my son that time because some nice cashing.
Yeah, Christmas was good that year.
Yep, it was. Get you a little extra present.
Exactly. Yep. So just, you know, for the people I'm interested, going to throw you on the spot here. Tell me one of your biggest wins or biggest losses, you know, something that you remember over your time, sports betting, gambling, kind of the whole scene.
I got the Tom Brady, when he went to Tampa, the tickets we had, I honestly forget what the cash out was, but that was, remember we had the tickets before the Super Bowl, you know, the beginning of the year.
Yep.
And then we had Gronk getting the touchdowns and such. So that was a nice payout. I forget what the exact dollar amount was, but I think that was one of the biggest scores.
That was a good one, and I remember that one very well. I think we got our Super Bowl bets on the Bucs in a day or two before he made his announcement.
Exactly.
And it was all rumors he was going to San Diego.
Yeah.
It was all San Diego, and the Bucs were an afterthought.
And Oakland.
Oakland was well. Now we hear,
right?
Dana White spilling the beans
Vegas,
that it was Vegas, but so we got hefty. I think 40 or 50 to 1 on that. That was a good one. That was a
one of my losses. Now this just it's kind of a loss/win, and it doesn't even involves your grandfather. So little family tree history here for you on your mother's side. Just to let the people know too, my family on my mother's side, my grandfather he was huge into horse racing. He was register of probate. He got dog racing in New Hampshire.
Yeah, fly.
Right, exactly.
Yep.
He was big on that. And my mother and my Aunt Phyllis, my mother's dead now, but her and my Aunt Phyllis used to go to the casino all the time. And before my mother died, she made me promise to take her once a month, her sister. Being the good son that I am, I do it.
Of course.
We went today, and she's 88, and slot jockey, and we had a ball.
Yeah.
But one of my lost, your grandfather, Leo. It's a little bit, but he was a great guy. One of my best friends. We went to many ball games, World Series, this and that. But one day he said, "Hey, let's go to Foxwoods," and we jumped in the car. And this reason is why I don't drink and drive. It's just a quick story, but we're driving to Foxwoods and we get pulled over by the cops. And as we get pulled over, I got pulled over for speeding, and they asked to see my registration, and he threw a beer in the glove box. So I pull out the registration and I give it to him, and it's soaking wet.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, no, it was bad.
Yeah.
He goes, "This doesn't look good." And I'm like, "No, it doesn't." So I had to do the Dewey dance, and I failed. And I'm like, it's a Friday night, 5 o'clock. And I'm like, I'm going to be in a Hartford jail. They go, "How's the guy you're with? Can he drive?" And I'm like, "Leo, yeah, he's fine." So they tell him to get out of the car. He gets out of the car. He had his pants pulled down a little because he had like a pea glass jar. He gets out, and he takes a little tumble down the hill. It was like a 3-foot embankment. And he gets up, and he's putting all his stuff together. He's pulling up his pants, and the cops are looking at him. He's got twigs in his hair. He's pulling back his hair, and he goes to the cops, "How's your 401k?" The cops look at each other, and they burst out laughing, and they're like, "What's up with this guy?" And they're like, "Can you drive?" He's like, "I was driving before you were, a glit in your eye."
Oh my God.
They put him I got a $300 speeding ticket. And they let me go.
Wow.
We go to the casino. We go to this casino. I'm drinking coffee now. I win $325. The speeding ticket they gave me was $300. So that was a loss and a win, but that's why I never drink and drive.
There you go.
And it was a gamble. Where we're from, little story.
Fascinating, fascinating, different times.
That's your family tree.
There it is. And now you see why I'm betting at elementary school folks,
Point taken.
Yeah, I'm baffled by that. But that's a win. And it
could
have been a bigger loss.
Right. It could have been loss of license.
Yeah.
I had visions of me being in a Hartford jail. I'm Shawshank Redemption.
That's it. Exactly. You escaped.
Wasn't pretty.
And you still went to the casino.
Right.
I respect that. I respect that. I would never do something like that. So,
but you never ever since you've been alive, I've never drank and drunk.
No, you have not.
Right.
I will tip the cap.
Yeah.
You learned your lesson at least.
Whew.
Yeah. Well, I'll go into my win. And it was actually this past NFL season. Whenever there's a standalone game, I like to throw a little single game parlay out there. Gives you something to root for on top of just the spread or whatever. And I never really tell Shelby about them. What's the point? It's a long shot, not going to hit. Just, a lot of times throw money away.
Pizza money.
It is. That's exactly what it is, pizza money. And I will have our producer, Howard, throw the image up when this is on YouTube. But it was the Bears-Packers, early December, probably week 13.
What year?
This past year. And the Packers were a 12-point favorite. They were supposed to kill them. And I took the Bears in a 7-leg parlay. Same game.
Oh, I remember this.
Yep. They had to score the first 5 points, the first 10 points, the first 15 points, the first 20 points, over Justin Fields' rushing yards, 3.5 sacks, and one other. And we'll see the image. All of it hit by halftime except for the 3.5 sacks. They needed 1 sack in the second half. It was the most stressful half ever. We enter the fourth quarter. Packers now have a 14-point lead. They're just running the clock out. I'm like, it's over. And then all of a sudden, late in the fourth, Aaron Rodgers steps back, defense is closing in, and he almost just slides on his own and eats the sack. And
because he doesn't want to throw a pick, because he hates throwing picks.
Yeah, and Shelby jumps up out of the couch, and I honestly sat there, little fist bump. It was almost like a sigh of relief at that point. You know, I'd put it on Twitter, people were rooting for me, and I'm like, thank God that one hit.
Yep.
So that was a nice score, and it was 600 to 1. 3,000 for a $5 bet.
Right,
Hard to complain there. And now I have 600 more.
That's a wedding ring, isn't it?
You can get close there.
Really?
Yeah, you can get close there. Yeah. So now I think it's kind of a good time to get into our actual segment that we'll be doing week to week, the Rems Gems segment, where we give out our gems, and tough this week. We don't have NFL. I think that'll be the main focus moving forward, going through those games, dissecting. But as I mentioned, I'm a writer for Action Network. So I focus on college football, college basketball, and I have done a lot of work in the offseason this college football season where I create my own power rankings. I then documented every game that's going to be played. I compared the power rankings. I adjusted for home field advantage. I made estimated spreads for every game. I then use those to kind of give me a win percentage for each game, and then I calculate what I anticipate each team's win total to be. And so I bounce all those win totals that I have made against what you can bet out there in the market, and I bet the biggest differences. And this season, this is what you were referencing, the 7-1-1 last year. This season, I'm focusing on the group of 5 conferences. So Mountain West, Sun Belt, American Athletic, the MAC, and Conference USA. So I have now done 3 to 4 bets for each conference, and Howard can put up the image so you can see. And I'll talk about a couple of them real quick. Arkansas State, under 5. They have no chance of winning 5 games. Butch Jones set a record last year as a first-year head coach there, where he won 2 games, which is the lowest total for that program since 2002. So they have 3 winnable games on their schedule. They have no chance of reaching a bowl. I put their ceiling at 3. That's if they win all 3. I can't even envision that happening. Another one I really like, Fresno State over. I think they're going to win that conference, but over 8.5 games. Jake Haener is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. I don't know if you remember last year, he beat UCLA and he was hurt leg, limping around the field the whole time. It was an unbelievable game. I feel like that game kind of put him on the map, but now he's returning and he's probably one of the best quarterbacks in college football. So I think they're favorites in every game except for USC week 3. And I think if they beat USC, they're going to be this season Cincinnati. They might make that jump up to the championship Final Four. Last one I'll touch on real quick. USF under. I had that one last year. We were on that one last year. I think it was 3.5 last year. This year it is 4.5, and for a decent reason. They returned a lot of production from that team, but the schedule they have is the hardest of any team in the country. They have to host BYU early. They play Louisville. They play Florida. 3 losses right off the rip. Playing in the American, UCF, Cincinnati. The schedule is brutal. So I can't see them winning 3 games. 4.5's a cherry. Thank you for the extra game and a half. I think I have them at like 3.1 wins. So I love that. But if you want to read more about these in depth on each one, I'll post the link to the articles in the bio of this YouTube channel, so that you can dive into those yourself.
I recommend. Well, what I did, I just bet them all blindly. I took what you did. Mm-hmm. I just bet everything you said.
Just the process.
Why not? 7-1-1. Why wouldn't you?
Yep.
You did the research. I get the money. That's the way Hey,
there we go. I put the time in, and that's why we're doing this podcast, because I'm spending all this time anyways. I don't want to be the only one that's making money on it. I want to share it. I want to spread my wings to everyone else.
Some families work at the soup kitchen. Mm-hmm. Some, do other things. We're giving out
this charity work.
Free money.
I know.
It's free money to these people.
I agree. Thank you. All you got to do is listen. You take a half hour of your time once a week, listen to this podcast, make some money. Boom.
Free money.
There it is. There it is.
You want me to give mine?
Yes. Yeah. So you have a couple, right?
Yeah. I have. I did player props. I have one here. Oh, I want to go into this too. How people should be looking. There's so much available out there, like VSiN. VSiN is such a great website to use. It's there's a lot of information. Those guys really know their stuff.
Definitely.
Mitch and Paulie, I love that show. I've gotten so much out of their guests. You know what I'm saying?
That's the key. I think they have phenomenal guests that are kind of experts at their trade.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're a great funnel of information.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll use them. And I saw my first one here, actually, I got from one of their guys, Stanford Steve, who's at ESPN.
Yep.
That one, not so much. Those guys I don't trust as much. But, I mean, hey.
You got to filter through.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But he knows his stuff. And I took over LSU 7 wins. He, Brian Kelly going, he's a phenomenal coach as far as, now he has, he can pay the players legally. And I like it. I don't like it as much as these next 3. These next 3 are my Rems gems that are.
And that's you're diving into my world with the LSU over.
Yeah.
And I'm okay if you can get 7. I think 7.5 is a little bit dicey.
I got 7 yesterday at DraftKings, so
and I think
that's
that's
still there.
I think that's their floor. I think it's I think they'll get 7, 8 or 9, and I don't think they're getting 6.
That's the way I was looking at it.
Yeah, so I think that's a good number for sure.
Now, these next 3, it's pretty ironic that we're doing this from Bellman's Jewelers, because these next gems, this is like rubies, emeralds. That's these next 3 picks are that I'm going to give you.
All right, let's hear them.
They're player props. Now, people can get hurt, so if someone gets hurt, it's par for the course. But I have a great deal of faith in these 3 NFL player props. Travis Etienne Jr., actually, his name is. Over 1,025.5 rushing and receiving yards. He was hurt last year for the first time in his life. He's never been hurt before. He's back. He was where did he go to school? Clemson.
He was with Trevor Lawrence.
Right, he was with Trevor Lawrence, and he was their all-time leading rusher, and he only touched the ball 15 times a game. So he's got a lot of tread on the tire. He's young. The coach they have in Jacksonville now, he likes, get 1,000 yards is nothing with 17-game season. That's
the key.
Right. I see him. I would not be surprised if he gets 1,400. That's what I'm saying there.
Yeah. Health is the big thing.
Oh, exactly. That's with any of these things.
Agreed.
But if they're healthy.
If he doesn't get hurt, he plays all the games, maybe misses 1 or 2, that gets there.
Right.
Feel good.
He could miss 2 games and still get there.
Yeah. Yeah.
This next guy, Allen Robinson, wide receiver for the Rams. He's going to be their number 2. He's a top 12 wide receiver in the league. He's played with nobody. He's played at Jacksonville with no quarterback. Then he was with the Bears with no quarterback. He's got a Super Bowl team where he's going to be number 2. 825 yards.
Yeah.
He's getting 1,000.
Where pick your poison. Are you going to double team Cooper Kupp, or are you going to leave both of them in single coverage?
Yeah, you can't not double team Cooper Kupp.
Agreed. And that's going to open him up. And he's a downfield guy. He can get chunk yardage quick. So I'm
very quick.
Yep, on board with that one.
And my last one, it's just, and the player hasn't produced yet, but I don't know if you remember when you and your boys, we were out one day, and a young quarterback named Patrick Mahomes was making his first start, and I told you guys,
heard of him,
he was going to throw 40 TDs, and you guys laughed at me. You thought I was high, and I was like, guys, that's besides the point. But I was very happy on this pick, and
I will tip the cap there. I don't like to do this often.
Right,
yeah,
but that was a solid play. I feel this way about this kid right here, Jalen Hurts, over 3,550 passing yards. I'm not saying he's in the Mahomes category, but that's a low number. That's like 200 yards a game. He got the kid from Tennessee. What's his name? You know what I'm saying? The stud
A.J. Brown?
Yeah, A.J. Brown. They got him. Their coach loves to run up the score. They couldn't pass last year in the playoffs. That was their Achilles heel, so they've been working on it. If he can't get 200 yards a game, I'll book it.
Yeah,
those are gems.
That's a low number. Gems. That's certainly a low number.
I think the next lowest one was 3,800, Tua.
Yeah.
And I was looking at that because he's got a lot of weapons.
Yeah. No, I'm on board with these.
Next week I'm going to do some team totals for, under over on the pro teams before they start.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. We can get those locked in.
When are you going to Vegas?
So yeah, we're going to Vegas September 5th, the day before kickoff. So we're going that Wednesday before NFL starts.
I was looking at the Circa contest today too. It's still, we might have to throw one in there too. We've done that in the past.
Yep.
But the overlay was just so much still.
Yeah. So for those of you wondering what that is, we that DraftKings contest we referred to, the $1,500 buy-in, they have the same thing at the Circa in Las Vegas, and the Westgate was kind of the originator of this contest.
We've been in that one we started.
And they offer millions of dollars guaranteed, regardless of how many entries there are. And I think it's 5-6 million guaranteed in the Circa this year. And they do not have that many entries, so there will be a lot more value and bang for your buck if you're registering in that one, because if there's 1,000 people, that's 1.5 million in the prize pool, yet the prize pool is 6 million.
Right.
So it's a big layover.
I think the
free
layover
money.
was 4 million today still.
Still.
Right, with 2 weeks left. It's
Now,
something we might have to explore.
Yep, a lot of people do register late. We might be one of those people.
Right,
You know, if there's value to be had, why not? We'll stick with we'll do our individual teams on DraftKings, and we'll partner back up and bring the band back together for a third cash in a row.
Hey, I got to tell you this story too, because this just about biggest losses, because it might have happened today at the casino.
All right.
I didn't tell you this. It's kind of embarrassing, but we're leaving the casino, and the lady's got to go to the bathrooms. I went to the bathroom too, and as I came out, your mother's looking at me. And she starts crying. She's laughing so hard. I mean,
oh boy.
Oh, exactly. That's what I'm like.
Now.
Yeah.
I'm getting nervous. I don't know where this is going.
Well, I'm looking around. I had like a 6-foot tail of toilet paper.
Oh my God.
Well, I had ankle surgery. People that don't know, and so I'm having a hard time getting around. It wasn't like it was still used. I got caught on it when I was leaving, on the roll, and it was on my shirt, but it looked like a tail.
That is a movie. That's a scene from a movie.
It was your mother, I thought she had to pee her pants. I'd never seen her laugh like that in a while.
Yeah,
that's a loss. That was a loss.
We need to start a segment, Bad Beats. That's a bad beat to start. The season hasn't even kicked off yet.
Right, all right, but hey. If you're going to watch this podcast, you're going to get some chuckles.
You
Laughing with us,
better.
But you know what? You'll win some money if you listen to our picks.
That's the key, I think. I think the last thing I want to touch on, some week 0 college football games. That is starting Saturday.
Are the picks you put out today, not to interrupt you, the picks you put out today, are those on this weekend?
That is part of the Conference USA one.
Do they start this weekend?
One of them does, actually, yeah. Right, so if you're going to...
I got to go back.
Yeah, Conference USA has a couple games. UNLV plays today on Saturday. So, they will be off the board come Saturday. And actually, one of the games, so I'm diving into 2 games so far, and it's UNLV, Idaho State. UNLV is going to destroy them. They lost to Eastern Washington last year from the Big Sky, an FCS matchup, and now they're facing Idaho State, who went 1-7 in the Big Sky. They're horrible. Lost top 5 tacklers, new coaching staff across the board. Everything about them is bad. I think they scored like 14 points a game. UNLV lost to the FCS team last year. They're going to want revenge. They're going to be much improved. Spread isn't out yet. I think it'll be around 22-24. Yep. They're winning by 30 plus because they want to send a message to this team. They've won 2 games over the last 2 years. Last one, Charlotte versus Florida Atlantic, 2 horrible defenses from Conference USA. That game's going over. 57.5 is the number right now. That game's going over. I want to be on record for 2 picks on Saturday. So when we come back next week, starting out 2-0, and we can, get the ball rolling.
Love it.
So
Rams gems.
I'm very excited for weeks to come. Track these and we'll
be tracking them. People will be watching, saying, "Wow, these guys do know their stuff."
Yep, and 2 free winners today for listening. Right. So congratulations. Appreciate you guys listening, and looking forward to seeing you next weekend.
Have a good week, everyone.